Hyperliquid could advance 6.8% by May 15 per crypto predictions. Let's start things off with a brief look at today's market behavior. Hyperliquid is now down 2.9% since yesterday and trades just under $38.99. Let's break down today's forecast range. CoinDataFlow expects the price to fall toward $37.77 by May 15th, marking a loss of 3.2%. Hyperliquid could trend downward to $38.48, according to CoinLore, about 1.4% down. Digital coin price highlights it potentially climbing to $39.74, a rise of approximately 1.8%. A different forecast by Crypto Predictions expects Hyperliquid might head higher to $41.68, a potential gain of 6.8%. And finally, Gov Capital Collector expects the price to reach $44.11 by May 15, which is 13% above the current price. This is the most profitable forecast of all we reviewed. We've gone over 5 calls for tomorrow. Let's keep moving. Forecast reviewed. Here's what each implies in figures. According to the forecast provided, the possible change in price extends from a drop of 3.2% to a gain of 13%, depending on the analyst. To sum it up, Gov Capital Collector offers the highest forecast with 13% gain in value by tomorrow. Based on these forecasts, you might see a return of between $14 and $130 for every $1,000 you invest. When we talk about probability, CoinLore tops the list with a 79% chance of success. From the 5 analysts' forecasts, I've outlined one combined consensus scenario. The consensus calculation indicates Hyperliquid trading near $40.36. Let's get into the specifics. The consensus view suggests a 3.4% gain in price by tomorrow. To phrase it clearly, your capital could likewise increase by about 3.4% as part of that scenario. For a 1,000 position, this might point to a possible increase of $34. And in practical terms, this consensus forecast carries a likelihood of 58%. At this stage, let's see what analysts are forecasting over the 3-day horizon. CoinDataFlow suggests Hyperliquid could slide further. Additionally, CoinLore believes the chart points to a decline. Digital coin price highlights that Hyperliquid could head higher. The short-term stance from Crypto Predictions is also optimistic. Also, Gov Capital Collector anticipates Hyperliquid following a bullish course. The consensus brings analyst forecasts together and points to Hyperliquid moving higher over the next 3 days. The consensus of opinions shows 60% leaning bullish, pointing to a higher trajectory for Hyperliquid. 5 sites posted forecasts 2 days ago. Now we'll check them against yesterday's numbers. As a result, the actual move took the price to $38.82. With this outcome, only one analyst had the direction correct. By accuracy standards, CoinCodex came out strongest. Now for the details. None of the 5 predictions were inside the span of yesterday's move. For ROI, a single forecast turned out profitable while others showed losses. Here's a quick results overview, a visual recap of forecast accuracy and outcome. In this comparison, CoinCodex was assigned 83.9% forecast probability, $2.16 in accuracy, and 6% ROI. See if your favorite analyst managed to stay closest to the move. Here's how analysts expect the different cryptocurrencies to perform tomorrow compared to Hyperliquid. At the very top sits Hyperliquid, showing a potential gain of 3.4%. At this point, Hyperliquid is compared with only 4 random cryptocurrencies. The complete comparison is already accessible on my website. The next 24 hours might change everything. Subscribe to see it early. Have a good one.